I mean, money was no problem, and he had the daughter from, who didn't have children, who lived in what I thought, she married very rich. She came and she was sitting with the side, and there was the other daughter, lived there, but her husband was also in that Munkasazot, military without munition, working military. So she came and she was sitting also with the grandfather. My father lived in the town, he was there every day, he slept there nights with the grandfather when he was already very sick.
How old was your grandfather?
He wasn't 70. He wasn't 70 yet, I know for sure. Not the grandmother, not the grandfather. So he passed away 4 weeks before Purim. I remember it was a Friday funeral. I don't know how, and I don't know how they notified the people. One of the daughters was in Budapest with her husband. One lived in Borsa, which was Romania. The rest was more all around. How they notified them? There was no telephone. So they sent people to tell them. Friday morning, everybody was there. All the children were there Friday morning. And I remember seeing my grandfather dead because they did everything in the house in his house, everything. I remember him dead laying on the table. I never forget that. That picture stays before my eyes with the long beard. So he passed away, and it was in the Shloshim. The children, everybody was sitting shiva together, we were there, helped out, to cook, to prepare food for everybody, because all the children were sitting. And so it was that year, before Pesach, it was, after Purim, we heard the news that the Germans came into Budapest, and they occupied the radio station, they took over, and there was a group. They called themselves Miloshes. They took over it wasn't a president, I don't know what was that, it wasn't a king either, like a president, Horthy Miklos. They took him off in the position, the Miloshes took over, and then the Germans came in, and it started the big trouble in Budapest. We were baking matzahs. We didn't already, every year the town was baking matzahs, but one person, he took care of this, the matzahs for everybody. Then they took him away also in 1941, I think. So we were baking matzahs, everybody in the house, like everybody went to help. A few people, like they baked matzahs in our house for the whole family. So other people came to help, we went to other people to help. So when I was helping, how you say Valgan matzahs?
To knead them or to roll them.
Roll them. I was helping, we were the girls, we went to roll the matzahs to the place there. So it was by one person, we went to help, and somebody came in and told that story, what happened, that the Germans came into Budapest. We had no radios, we had no electricity in our town, nothing, we had lamps. And so everybody was very sad, we were very upset, nothing we could do about it. We heard the news because my father every day went to Tyachevo, and we brought a paper from there. So more or less we knew what goes on.
How far away is Budapest from Bedevi?
In Budapest, I don't know the kilometers, but you had to travel 7-8 hours
by train?
I'm gonna go back to 1941 now, because I forgot to say that. Then when they released us and they took the Jews away, so one day the Shoichet from Bedevla wasn't home, he was someplace away, and he came home 2 or 3 days later. My mother went away to Budapest to make citizen papers for the whole family, because we needed citizen papers, Hungarian citizen papers, because we were occupied by Hungary, but we needed, otherwise they took away the people who didn't have citizen papers. All right, my mother went away to Budapest, my father went away someplace, and I was left with my sister alone home. The Shoichet came home.
How old was your sister at the time?
My sister was 3 years older than me.
So she was 15 years old? They left the two of you home alone?
This was, no, for the day just. My father came home at night.
Okay.
No, my sister was, I was more already in 1941.
Oh, sorry.
1941, I was already 15, she was 18.
Oh, okay.
But they didn't leave us. No, my father came home at night. But he went away for the day, and when the Shoichet came home, so his wife was running in front of him and was so happy that he came home, you know. It didn't take an hour. Those police, those gendarmes came and they took the whole family away also. And when we saw this, my sister, we got very scared. We were home alone. We were running to the woods. We were running up to the orchard, to that gentle guy who took care. I mean, we were girls. We didn't know what to do. We told them what happened. So we stayed there the whole day, the rest of the day. Then we sent him down. He should go down. It was, you know, about a few kilometers to go there. He should go down to see if my father is home already. So he came back. He said the father is home. And he told them where we are, because my father didn't know where we are. And this is how we got home. So my mother was in Budapest for a while. She did the papers for everybody, for the whole family. Because my mother was from Transylvania, she talked a good Hungarian, you know. We didn't know Hungarian. So she did for the whole family the citizen papers. She stayed weeks there, maybe 6 weeks at least, till everything was done. It cost money, you know, and she came with the citizen papers. Everything was okay. So then, and this was in 1941. So I told already the story till 1944. In 1944, that before Pesach, all right, it was already, but still everybody had to make Pesach, we had to prepare everything fine. The day before Pesach, the German army marched into our town and they wanted to station there. So they came into our house, they didn't want to take the whole house, but 2 rooms, they wanted for officers. They wanted to take, was very afraid, you know, but it was the Wehrmacht. It wasn't the SS, it was the Wehrmacht. And we wanted, you know, we had to go to the Seder. My father went to make the Seder for my grandmother, because my grandfather passed away, because by us was a custom. Nobody was going to grandparents or to family, didn't get together and to a Seder. Everybody made the Seder in their home. This is how it was by us. So they came in, but what was the problem? The problem was our town had typhus sickness. The Goyim in the woods, I don't know that they say. The Goyim didn't want the Germans should stay also. So they told them that it was typhus goes on, so they left. So we were very happy they left.
There actually was typhus, or was a lie?
It was something went on, and they left. They left us. Okay, we went to the side there to my grandfather and grandmother's
So the Germans,
house.
those officers never stayed in the house. They came, they wanted to, but they went away.
They wanted, and they said they wanted 2 rooms, because we had 2 rooms there, you know, where we had an extra room for us, but there was 2 rooms. He said they want those 2 rooms, and we should put them in, you know, a heat, because it was still cold that time, so we put them in. I remember somebody came and put in that a ribbo, you called it. I don't know how you call it. Here is not such a thing, but they should, you know, you made with wood. A fire, you know, and it went out to the
The chimney?
chimney,
And so
we
they
did
actually
it for them, but they left. So we were very happy they left. We went for the Seder, we came home. For the second Seder also we went, and we came home, everything was okay. The last day of Pesach, it was Achashel Pesach, they called my husband, they called my father. He should go to those gendarmes, you know, to those police. They was in Terrace, where they had the station. He should go there. They called him, and they called another guy from the town. They called him, so nobody knew for what. We were very upset. It was, you know, after sure he went. And he came there. They didn't tell him nothing. They told him to go home. What was the problem? The problem also was with the typhus, that the town had typhus, so they didn't want to take the Jews yet because, the Germans were very afraid for typhus. So after that, we knew already what goes on. We started thinking it was late in the day already, after Pesach. People came on bicycles, Jewish boys came on bicycles from Dibova. They were running to Kyachevo, they also heard something happened, what goes on. The next morning we saw already the cattle trains with people running. So my grandfather, from my mother's side, he sent a woman, came to see what's doing by us. Because, I'm telling you, there was no telephones, was no nothing. We were still home. They were still home too. So she went back to tell them that we are still home. My grandfather had from his son, my mother had a brother. He was also in that working army. And she had 4 children. Beautiful 4 children. And she was a beautiful young woman. And my grandfather took those children to his house because, she should be able to make a living for herself because they had a grocery store and they took it away from them. And I don't know what she did, but he took away the children for her. So the day when this happened, he took somebody, a guy, and sent her home the children. I always say if they wouldn't have sent home the children, she would have survived. My mother's brother didn't survive. He was captured from the Russians. I don't know, something in Siberia, they captured a lot of those in the working army. And he died there. And she had 4 small children, so they right away. So, a day after Yontif, right away, my mother washed the Pesach dishes, everything, we put everything away in place, everything, and she started baking. Because we didn't go to the store to buy a kilo, a pound of flour, but we always had, on the attic, we always had sacks of flour for chalis, and for bread. And my mother started by baking cookies. How many flours we had? We had 6 sacks. For 2 weeks she baked those cookies to take along.
At that time, you didn't know where those
Nobody
trains
knew
were going?
They said they're taking the Jews to on the fields to work in Hungary. Nobody knew what's happening, where they took. They took to the ghettos, but nobody knew nothing.
You knew that there were ghettos then?
We knew, I think we knew. No, maybe we didn't know what it was. Really, I don't remember it. We didn't know nothing. They said they're taking the Jews to work, they're taking the Jews here, nobody knew nothing. What happened, there was, by us in town was a notaire. They called him, he was the head of the town, not a mayor, I don't know how you, okay. So they gave him they took from every house, every woman gave her jewelry. They got to my father and that other guy, he was in charge of this. They took all the jewelries from the woman and they...
This was the Jews organized?
What?
Or this was the Jews organized to do this? To collect all the jewelry, or this was them, non-Jew taking away from?
No, it was from the Jewish organization. They should give to that guy, he should close down the town. He should close
to the
down
non-Jewish mayor?
Yeah.
Right.
He should close down the town. So, whatever we had jewelry, just my mother's diamond earrings in the ring. This was, my father gave it to her for the engagement. I lost 1 stone. I told you already once. You remember when you found that pin? You remember, Stin? Yeah. This is 1 stone. And I have the ring. I also put it in another ring because it was broken. I have also those, it's not big stones, but that's all I have. So my mother had a golden watch. My father had a pocket watch. I got everything. They gave away to that. So he couldn't, for 2 weeks he closed the town. Couldn't go further.
By close.
Stop. Okay, so they gave all the jewelry to that man, and he closed down the town for 2 weeks. After the 2 weeks,